Hey everyone, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these art videos and I've been sitting on a lot of really cute Hazbin Hotel cookie run crossover designs, and since season 2 is out, I'm really excited to share and talk about these characters with you all. And our first runner-up is Emily. The best way that I can explain her is she feels very much like the heaven equivalent to Charlie. Both of them are very powerful cosmic beings that kind of grew up sheltered, but where Charlie is used to living with the worst of worst people and having to look past their bad qualities to find the good, Emily is kind of on the opposite side of that coin, where she grew up with everybody being super positive and good around her, and now she's realizing that the depths that evil can go is farther than she thought. And like when they arrive with the gift baskets and she sees Vox, the way that he acts like genuinely shocks her, like she did not know that that was a possibility. And I know that pre-season 2, one of the very big theories surrounding her was that she was going to become a fallen angel, and while that might still happen in future seasons, I really like the route that they're going with her instead, where she has to learn the weight of the things that people go through and be able to approach them in different ways other than just blind positivity, because obviously, especially with Serpentius, that was not the right approach, and it actually made his situation worse. Also, at the end of season 2, she made a self-sacrifice that got her wing damaged, and she got hurt while saving Alistair's life, no less, and I really hope that we get some, I don't want to say repercussions, but I hope that we get some kind of plot point out of that in season 3, because as people have been quickly and rightfully pointing out, Charlie has not really cared about Alistair during, any of his absences or whenever he's very obviously on the ground bleeding out, and she doesn't even look at him or check on him or anything. And the one time that she's actually quote unquote concerned that he's gone, she starts out with how it's more of an inconvenience for her rather than actually being worried about him first thing. So with Emily doing the opposite of that and actually making a sacrifice to save him, I hope that that plays into his story arc at some point. And again, her becoming a fallen angel is a very fun, concept to play with, but I think moving forward it's more likely that we're just going to see her have more interactions with sinners and be able to learn and empathize with their concerns rather than just, attacking every problem with cotton candy and ball pits. Definitely a character whose development I want to keep an eye on and that I'll need to think about more. I can pretty much guarantee you that this is already an official Cookie Run character, but let me introduce you to my version of Powdered Donut Cookie. Even though she is very, very powerful, she likes to avoid conflict as much as possible, and if she can, she'll solve things with a song or as peacefully as possible. Even though her optimism can be annoying at times, it's also her strongest quality. The second character we get to talk about today is Sera. In season 1, she was one of the characters that I was a little bit worried about, especially in that shot of you didn't know whenever the fire's burning in her eyes. A lot of people, myself included, were pinning her as a good guy that's actually a bad guy kind of character, and I was actually so happy, relieved that she did not go down that route in season 2. It takes a while for her to accept what's in front of her, and then she struggles with the guilt and the implications of what she's done, which is just great. It's amazing. And it really humanizes her, because there's a lot of times in real life where people in positions of power, whether it be as big as, ruling a country, to as small as being a mother or a big sister, where you're presented with very big decisions that you have to make, and sometimes it feels like that there's no quote-unquote right answer. And Sera is a very interesting character to explore this concept with, because not only, like I said, is it a very real issue that people deal with, but we also get the satisfaction of exploring what that's like on a cosmic level. Depending on Sera's choices, entire realms of souls could be lost. And moving forward into season 3, I would really like her to learn how to be confident in her own decisions rather than depending so heavily on the counsel of everybody around her. And not that it's not good to weigh other people's opinions, because especially as a leader, that is a very important thing to take into account, but you also have to have your own resolve and be able to make your own decisions and understand that no matter what you do, you're not going to please everybody. And I really like the idea of somebody somebody as powerful and influential as her coming to that realization. There's kind of two ways that I'm seeing her story arc going, and I'm really excited for both of them. On one hand, I want her to stay in the position that she's in and sort of explore this concept that, like heaven is not the ultimate goal, and that even when you do quote unquote arrive, there will always be room to improve and change yourself. The other route, kind of borrowed from Emily's theory, is if Sera actually becomes a fallen angel and she has to work through this guilty conscience and these years and years of believing a lie and having to unlearn a lot of things and kind of building her way back up from the bottom. That's definitely the least likely route, but we'll have to see. In all her glory is divine roulade cookie. She is a very ancient and powerful cookie. She wants to do her best to protect the souls of good cookies who have crumbled, but she has so many different decisions to make and things to weigh that she always worries if she's really making the right decisions. She's weighed down by a heavy conscience and hopes that she can be forgiven for the tough decisions she's had to make. Adam is the third character we get to talk about today, and boy oh boy, I have so much to say about him. I'm probably going to have to give him his own video. I do want to say that being a Christian makes his characterization even funnier, because in the Bible he knew that he was not supposed to eat the fruit and he did anyway because Eve asked him to. And then whenever God asked about it, he was just more or less like, "It wasn't me, it was that woman you gave me." And yeah, Adam in the show very much does not take responsibility for his own mistakes. And even though he's like low-key obsessed with women, he's also kind of misogynistic at the same time, which is interesting. And I know that in season 1 they were tackling a lot of different things at once, like they had to establish world building, characters, motivations, plots, just all kinds of things. But I do wish that Adam got more screen time than he did, because there is so much to pick apart. And even though I am kind of disappointed that the fan theory of him becoming a sinner turned out to not be true, I still think it's pretty interesting how they did bring him back as kind of a figment of Lute's imagination, which I'll talk some more on later because there's some interesting stuff with that too. But it also kind of raises the question of what happened to his body. I'm sure the answer is like super obvious, like the cannibals ate it, duh. But before season 2 dropped, I did have a couple crazy theories of my own. I think my favorite one of those theories was the possibility of Vox kind of bringing Adam back as a cyborg, because at that point we didn't really know a lot about Baxter other than the fact that he worked for Vox and that he was, a scientist slash bioengineer. I did have this theory that Baxter was kind of going to resurrect Adam in a certain sense and use his angelic power against the hotel, or even as part of their weapon against heaven. I knew it was very unlikely, and I like the thing that we got instead, but you can't tell me that that would not have been really, really cool, or at least a fun concept to explore in fanfiction. And even though Adam himself was killed off pretty early in the story, I still like the fact that he has huge implications on the future plot lines of several characters, including Lute and Abel. And I really hope that at some point we get to meet Cain and Seth, because Vivziepop has a very interesting way of taking what you expect from these characters and kind of going at it from a completely different angle. Excited to see what she could do with the other children of Adam and how he could affect them as well. And now you can meet Rockinut Cookie. It's a multi-meaning name, please don't think about it too much. While designing him and Lute, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to settle on their masked or unmasked form. Sorry, masked. That's a very strange word. Hard for me to say. Anyway, I ended up taking the middle ground where it was half and half, and I think that it's a very cool effect that kind of shows multiple sides to the characters. And the last character that we get to talk about today is Lute. I feel like a broken record at this point, but she is a very interesting character to kind of like look into and pick apart, because we still don't know exactly what the Exorcists are or how long they've been around, and there's a lot of really cool theories surrounding them. My favorite one at this this point is that they were all souls who had a lot of trauma or things that they wanted to forget, and they more or less just agreed to be like wiped clean to become soldiers for heaven. And even with Baggy, we see that loyalty is a very strong trait that they have, and they'll go to great lengths, even sacrificing their own wants and personalities for the sake of their commander. And this might be controversial to say, but I do not think that Lute is going to be the main antagonist of season 3. Like, she will definitely be an antagonistic force, but I don't think she's going to be the big bad. She'll still have her own time to shine as a proper villain. And the thing that kind of makes her a scary villain is because she thinks that what she's doing is right. She thinks that she is protecting heaven by what she's doing, and again gives us a very unique, gray morality situation to explore, especially when it comes to the topic of, when is violence okay, when is it going too far, and when do qualities that we see as good, like loyalty and dedication, actually become negative. And as we see, Lute is so devoted to Adam that she actually creates a version of him in her head, like she has this little psycho break. But the interesting thing I think about that is that the Adam that we see in her head is not really like the actual Adam, like we're seeing him filtered, which is a fascinating insight into her. For example, there were several instances in season 1 where she was very unhinged, sadistic, like taking things way too far, and Adam actually had to step in and tell her to, chill out, like back up off of that a little bit. Whereas the version of Adam that we see in her head is 100% enabling and even encouraging everything that she wants to do, no matter how far it goes. Like during the song Gravity, he's literally just egging her on as she's having this crash out. It was a banger of a crash out, mind you, but still. And I think it's very interesting how she doesn't take Abel seriously until she sees Adam in him, which is something I'll save for whenever we talk about Abel. And here is White Chalk Cookie. I know it's a bit of a weird name, but hear me out on that. Lute doesn't really have much of a color or an opinion of her own, and she's more or less just an extension of whoever is her commander. So without someone to guide her, she is very bland and powdery and gets all over everything. I swear there's a good metaphor there, just think about it. And that sums up our time for today. Let me know below what other characters and theories you'd like to hear about, which theories and designs from this video you enjoyed most, and the usual YouTube things of subscribing and commenting and liking and sharing and all that kind of thing helps the channel to grow and encourages me to make more videos like this. Thank you all for watching. You have a blessed day and keep being awesome. See ya!